My digital story is about my trip to Alaska. What adventures are there in Alaska? In the summer of 2011, my family and I visited Alaska. We landed in Anchorage and drove north to the Mount McKinley Wilderness Lodge. There were statues of wild animals everywhere. The next morning, we continued driving north. By the evening, we had reached Denali National Park. The next day, we set out to a campsite deep in the park. We set up camp near the edge of a forest. We spent the rest of the day exploring and seeing the sights. We went to take a look around. It wasn't long before we spotted a group of caribou, which we trailed for a very long time. We turned back eventually to our camp when it started to get dark. The next day, we set out in a different direction, only to find an even bigger animal waiting for us. It didn't seem to mind us, so we left it alone and moved on. As soon as we had gotten away, we saw another bear, but this one had a cub. We watched them for a while, but had to head back to camp before sunset. On our third day in the wild, we stumbled onto a trail, so we decided to follow it. But we soon found out that we were the ones being followed by a lone wolf. The wolf lost interest in us, so we decided it was safe to stop for lunch. But it turned out that we had walked pretty far trying to lose the wolf, so we spent the afternoon finding our way back to camp. We saw yet another bear on the way back, but he seemed busy, so we didn't stay for long. The next morning, we got an early wake-up call from a moose crashing through the woods. But it was time to pack up and leave. Our trip back to civilization was uneventful. For the most part. It was a long drive with 2 sights to see, but we finally made it back to the city. The next day, we flew back to our home near Austin, Texas, where nobody ever gets followed by a gray wolf. My trip to Alaska was really fun and filled with adventures. I'd like to thank my parents and my brother for support and help with this project, and I'd like to thank my audience for watching my digital story.